Good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for round 11 of Formula 2 Season 7. I am Killer Blue 295 once again, and back in the commentary box is a man I've commentated with once before, which I think was Endure at China. It's RJDW is back with us. How are you, sir?
Good, thank you. Yeah, the last few weeks have been interesting. Haven't actually seen much of the F2, whilst I've been slightly under the weather, but we're back for Belgium, and only 2 rounds to go. It doesn't feel like it already, and yeah, the championship's really heated up since the last time I was in the com box.
Yeah, a very interesting on and off track the last couple of weeks. You say 2 rounds ago, Belgium tonight, Bahrain next week, so a couple of classic, very popular tracks to go. But yeah, championship, well, how close do you like it? It's QVR Campbell and Ariel Nathan tied at the top on 306 points. Campbell took big strides last week after winning the feature at Monza. Nathan has had one podium finish in the last 6 races, going back to Jeddah, Russia, and Monza. He's only had one podium finish, which was in the Russia Sprint. So he's had something of a tumble. Kugar Verstappen very much in play as well. He had a great recovery last week in the feature after a DSQ in qualifying and then a crash in the sprint race. He recovered fabulously to take some good points home. XL Rocco in fourth, having missed last week, has dropped away. And then it's Larkin and Ben JS closely tied in a battle for fifth. And then Luco 5HD, B Morgan, MLE Taupe, XL Miami, Shazoo, Cortez, and Ariel Jordan are top 12. All of the drivers there to have amassed over 100 points. And then there's me all the way down in 21st with 35 points. So we're really down to a three-way title fight now. It was looking like Rocco was going to get involved there before last week, but you've been watching these guys all season long, me the last couple of weeks. Where is your money going? Campbell, Nathan, or Verstappen? 21 points between the three of them.
Yeah, this might be the most impossible prediction to make because, yeah, at one point in this season, Verstappen looked like he was walking away with it. Then he had a few races where he just couldn't quite get the rubber of the green. Nathan took the lead. It looked like he would run away with it. And then in the last 2 weeks, Campbell's put a run of results together, and now he's joint top with Nathan. So, it's you can't look past Nathan really because the fact he picks up the extra points in qualifying by I don't know if he got pole in the last 2 weeks, but he definitely has the most poles throughout the season. And starting first in that feature race, when you pick up the most points, it's a massive boost to that. So if he just keeps it clean, I can't really look past Nathan. But if anyone saw what happened at Jeddah in the feature race, Nathan can sometimes be his own downfall. So really, it should be Nathan if we're going purely on pace, but still a lot more to play out.
He is very much his own worst enemy, is Nathan. I think that goes for F1 as much as it does for F2. But you mentioned Campbell. He has put a really good run again in the second half of the season. 8 podium finishes in the last 9 races, going back to Portugal's sprint race. So he is only one win in that time, which was the feature last week at Monza. But 5 second places, 2 third places, and a victory. He's in really, really solid form. As you mentioned, Verstappen had a great start, winning the first 2 feature races of the season. And then it's slipped away a little bit since then. But let's turn our attention to qualifying and let's have a look on board with QVR Verstappen. RJ, would you like to take us through that? We're on board with Verstappen, but whoever you're on board with, I'm sure it'll be a cracking lap.
Yeah, I'll go on board with Verstappen as he comes up through Arouge and Radion. I'm going to make sure to say both, so no one can give me any grief later. DRS opened down the Kemmel Straight. Very powerful. Well, not as powerful in the F2 cars as the F1 cars, but still quite powerful as you get down into the Lecombe chicane now. Into the second sector, the longest sector on the circuit. Definitely one of the longest sectors of the whole calendar as it comes through. That's Rivage there, through Speaker's Corner, or whatever the name of the corner is now, and into P1. Not flat in the F2 cars, bit of a break, or it looked like a bit of a break from Verstappen, down into 5th gear, and now gets through there quite nicely. He's currently in 4th place as he comes through the Le Fagnes chicane. Taking a bit more curve than you can take in the F1 cars through there. The AstroTurf not very kind to the F1 cars as they go through the second sector split now onto the back straight towards Blanchimont. Very clean lap so far. Not quite at the top. Actually, Cortez, his teammate above him so far. So Cortez having a good qualifying, which he's really put that together in the second half of the season. But as they come into the bus stop chicane now, final 2 corners of the lap, Verstappen and Campbell pretty much neck and neck as it looks on the leaderboard. Who's going to get there first? Nathan does take pole, but yeah, Cortez second. Campbell does pip Verstappen in the end, so Verstappen down into 4th.
2 crucial points there for Nathan. It moves him clear, or sorry, 3 points. Moves him clear at the top of the championship from Campbell, who I think I'm right in saying picks up 1 point. I'm not too sure. I'll be honest, I don't know.
2 points for pole.
2 points for pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have checked that, shouldn't I? 2 points for Nathan. He takes a 2-point lead in the championship. Cortez is second. That's Safari front row. Campbell in third. He has Verstappen between himself and Giron. And if anyone saw ISRL on Sunday, Campbell or Giron should be very grateful. He's got a car between himself and Campbell. Of course, other leagues are available. XO Rocco in P6. XO Miami in 7th. Luke in 8th. Nolan in 9th. B. Morgan is in 10th. He takes sprint race pole. Then Darry, Jordan, Chill, Carmentalis, Scream, and then Larkin, Ibo, and Tope round out the order. Larkin, Ibo, and Tope all DNFing, and then invalidations for Carmentalist and the Scream. So it's going to be a B. Morgan and Nolan front row in the sprint, and a Nathan and Cortez front row in the feature. And I have to say, just from my limited experience in F2, I think in both cases the driver starting in second can get a little bit hyper. So I'm intrigued to see how overzealous Cortez and Nolan are in these opening exchanges.
Yeah, and two drivers not well, they're getting quite used to this reverse grid front row. I can't remember how many times B. Morgan and Nolan have actually been there, but it's quite a few, and a lot of the time they've actually managed to stay fairly high up the order. So this is the benefit of the reverse grid, really. Gives the drivers who wouldn't normally, quite be able to stick with the leaders. It gives them the chance to really fight for it and stay ahead of the leaders as Nolan goes quite far off track on the exit of turn 1. Shouldn't be able to do that next game.
Yeah, as you say, there will be a gravel trap there, but that's permitting that Codemasters update their track models. Wouldn't expect them to. B. Morgan just sails over Radion there. Ibo on the softs, not for the first time. Ibo's taken the contra approach, shall we say, to the sprint race. He does have a penchant for going for the softer tyre. Does Ibo, the connoisseur that he is, as B. Morgan goes very wide at Malmedy, and Nolan sneaks through. I think both of these guys having a scruffy formation lap is the word to put it, and I'm sure Luke will be licking his lips seeing them going off track galore. Let's get the track map up as well so we can see what's going on there. I mean, you should all know, but no pit stop is obligatory in the sprint race. So if anyone's coming into the pits at the end of the first lap, it's for completely the wrong reasons. Mediums to the 9 laps as well, Spa being the longest circuit on the calendar, so we're not even hitting double figures for laps today. And RJ, I'm going to ask you the fatal question. What is your top 3 prediction for today's sprint race?
I might just pick 3 people that might struggle to get there, just so I don't jinx it for everyone else. I'll go with I think Rocco from 5th. Probably get through quite early and take the lead and win this race. But then I'll go with Miami in 2nd and Campbell 3rd.
Interesting. I think B. Morgan will hold on and win this race. I think he's done very well in the sprints that he's led, at least the one I've seen him near the front, limited though that is. And then I'm going to agree with you, I'll say Rocco P2 and Campbell P3. So two of ours are the same, I think. But I'll be intrigued to see Nathan come through the field and where he ends up as well. So I think everybody is just settling into position now. We've got Taupe and Ibo just lining up on the back row. No disqualifications on the formation. That always makes a nice change. So we have got B. Morgan on pole on the left side of your screen, Nolan on the right, Luke and Miami just in behind them. The lights are out and we're underway in the Spa sprint race, and Nolan's had a cracking start on his pad. Look at that, straight into the lead through turn 1. Luke up the inside of La Source as well, and B. Morgan's got crowded out on the outside there. He's down to P5 already. It's Nolan who leads from Luke from Miami. Girone's up into 4th. Campbell's made a cracking start. He's up into P5. Nathan's gained a place as well, but safely. RJ, I think they've all avoided drama, but there's some cars going very wide there. Verstappen's picked up an instant 3-second penalty.
Yeah, I think B. Morgan actually left the session before the start of the race. I didn't quite clock that, but it's obvious now. He's just ghosting through everyone back through the field. He's down to 15th. As we've got battling through the rest of the field. Luke trying to hold off Miami for that 2nd place. Nearly 3 wide down into Rivage, and I think Miami. Oh no, Luke's still on the inside, but Miami now through up into 2nd place. No, that's Girone. Sorry, I think actually. Yeah, Girone up into 2nd place.
Girone into 2nd. Miami went round the outside of Luke at No Name. I think Girone slipped through at Rivage. We've got Nathan is that side by side with Shazoo Cortez, our 2 front row sitters from qualifying. They're going side by side through Lefania. I think Cortez is going to hang this out around the outside. He's going to have the inside line for the first part of Stavolo, but just tucks in behind Nathan's Carl in there. And further up ahead, we've got Luke is slipping down the field again. We've got Miami, that is off track. And then I think Luke is getting passed by Verstappen there around the outside as they come towards Blanchard. Nathan's on the grass up the inside of Rocco. Balls of steel from that man. He's nearly off track, and Luke is just getting swamped here as they come towards bus stop chicane. He's lost 4 or 5 places on this opening lap. Look at Cortez there around the outside of him. Even having a look at Nathan as they come across the line. Rocco, just as this battle shakes out into a straight line of some description, just about at the front of this group. But Verstappen, with that instant penalty, is going to have a look back up the inside in towards turn 1. And, I think they're going to have a drag race now up towards La Source, and Nathan is licking his lips looking at this.
Yeah, and still going side by side as they come up to Eau Rouge. Verstappen just backs out of that one. But Nathan's got the run of him on the switchback at the top of Raidillon, and no DRS enabled yet down the straight, but B. Morgan rejoins the session. But Nathan actually getting ahead as the 2 HWAs going side by side as well. Cortez trying to get ahead of his teammate around the outside of the Lefania chicane and actually gets that position done. The other thing I want to say, Luke, he was up in 2nd on the start of that first lap, and he's lost. He's down to 9th now, so that's 7 positions down towards the end of that lap. So I don't know what happened, quite how it happened to them. Might have just been pushed slightly out of place. But we now have Nathan leading Cortez, leading Verstappen in this mid-top 10 order, with Nathan now looking at the back of Rocco for P5.
We've got Larkin and Carmentlist side by side all the way through Pouon and then into Lefania as well. I think Carmentlist just won that one out by sheer bloody mindedness. He's taken 11 places, got a yellow flag that is someone in the background. It's that scream has come a cropper just at the entry into Stavilo. I was very ready to say here comes Shazoo Cortez down Kemmel Straight then, but he didn't quite manage to make the double overtake there on Nathan and Verstappen. But he's having a right old look at Nathan now as we come towards the bus stop. Rocco's bottling the train up a little bit, and then further ahead we've got Campbell, and going up the old Campbell spun Nolan there into the first part of the bus stop. He was trying to get past Miami, ended up spinning Nolan. Girone's romped through into the lead in all of this. Rocco's found himself in third place after he was under attack from Nathan. Nathan and Verstappen is getting a squeeze
damage
on in the outside, and
damage
yes, I think damage for Nathan there. He at the back of Rocco coming into La Source, and we're going to see. Let's have a look now, see how much speed he's going to carry through Eau Rouge and Radion here. Has he still got enough pace? It looks like he's just about got enough in that car. We've got DRS in effect now as well. And Campbell's going to find himself very vulnerable. Here comes Miami and Rocco and Nathan in there as well. And Verstappen might even be having a look at Nathan here. They're nearly 4 wide as they come towards Les Combes. And Verstappen has lost 4 or 5 places there coming through the Kemmel Straight. Or Campbell, sorry.
Yeah, Campbell down to 6th. I think he started that in second. So not a great straight for him, but that's the power of the DRS up the all the way up the hill. But yeah, Nathan damage. We said really Nathan is his own worst enemy, and struck a bit too late trying to keep the position of Cortez and goes into the back of I think it was Rocco. I can't remember. But he's now really struggling with Cortez all over the back of him, and actually he's got Campbell now looking at the back of him, trying to get through as well. So he's really backing everyone up. But really, at the moment, he's been helped by the fact Rocco's not pulling away from him too much either. So managing to just back everyone up, and as he goes wide and gets a penalty for it, and Cortez is now going to try and go side by side as they come up towards Longchamp.
Just compounds Nathan's misery, doesn't it? Picking up that penalty, and he's gone wide. He clopped with the curb at the inside of Blanchimont. The car just washed wide, and he ended up forcing the HWA off the track there. And is Cortez going to get through here? He puts the squeeze back on Nathan, pinching up against the apex. He gets the straight attraction out of the bus stop chicane. He's through into 4th place. Rocco's now going to take second helpings here on Nathan towards turn 1. And he slips through there into the first corner, and Nathan lost a 2nd place in as many corners. But the DRS will keep him nicely in play here if he can just hang on, because Verstappen behind him also has a penalty. So look at that through Radion for Nathan. There's no way he's going to keep that car ahead of those behind him, although Verstappen had a big moment at Eau Rouge as well. I think probably followed Nathan a little bit distracted, and Luco 5 has slipped through back up into 7th place as Nathan's now trying to get his own back on Cortez as well, and there's more back behind. Look at Car Mentalist, Darry and Larkin coming through Les Combes and then Malby. Larkin's got back ahead of Car Mentalist, and Car Mentalist and Darry collide hugely there. Darry's out of the race. Car Mentalist swings back across the track. I think we've got a full safety car there, and Car Mentalist has wing damage as well. This will give Nathan the opportunity he needs to get his wing changed, but that was a comedy of errors there between Larkin, Car Mentalist and Darry. No one seemed to want to yield. Larkin managed to slip through ahead of them, and then Car Mentalist and Darry, no idea what happened, but absolute madness there.
Yeah, it just seemed to be a slight tap, really. And they both kind of lost it into each other, and it's just, never going to work from that point on. Luckily for Car Mentalist, he's still in the race, but same can't be said for Darry. That wheel was flying all over the place. So, first retirement of the race here on lap 4 and the full course safety car, which really round here really puts a damper on things, because it means it's not going to go in for at least 2 laps. We're only going to get about 3 laps of running. So, not long of this race left to go. I wonder whether under the safety car Nathan decides to pit. I don't think he will, and he hasn't. As actually Tope decides to Verstappen into the pits.
I wonder if that was why Verstappen had that big moment at Eau Rouge on that last lap. It was just because he had damage. So you say we're not going to get too much action, but it will be high in comedy, I am sure, because if there's anything I have known from driving and commentating F2, it's that a late safety car in an F2 sprint race brings out the worst devils of our nature, should I say. I think we're going to see some very aggressive and racy overtakes in full effect, particularly if we've got people like Nathan wrestling with one arm tied behind their back with that half a front wing that he's got there. It does bring the battle for the win into greater focus as well, because Jeroen had checked out a little bit out in front. He's now very much been pulled back in on a leash there. Miami and Rocco have him very much in their sights to try and make some kind of overtake, or at least force an error from Jeroen, which I think we know he has one in him. But let's have a look at the tyres quickly. So we've got the top 9 all on their 4-lap old mediums, B5 at the end of this one. And then we've got Verstappen, Chill, B. Morgan, Nolan, Carmentelis, Jordan, Scream, all on fresh softs. Ivo has switched off his softs onto a set of mediums, the legend that he is. And you have to imagine that Verstappen, presumably on the first lap, that was an instant 3-second penalty. He'll get that removed, meaning he is the championship contender. Is at the front of these charging, very angry soft runners, I imagine. I'm excited to see what happens if he manages to pull his way up through the field and we get a bit of Verstappen versus Nathan, Verstappen versus Campbell in the couple of laps of racing that we'll have.
Yeah, no, I can confirm Verstappen's penalty was, well, yeah, he got 3 warnings in one go, so looks like he's currently on about 2. So unless he does another track extension, he should be fine and should be able to get that removed. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see these soft runners come through, especially with Nathan in 6th, that damage. Whether he can back, it won't be intentional, but whether he ends up backing people into the soft runners will be very interesting to see. And that battle for the lead, Campbell has a very good chance now, because he's, other than Cortez, really that group he was battling aren't really in play, really, the safety car restart, so he can have an attack at the guys in front of him and see what they can do. I do just want to make the point, I'm pretty sure this is right. Everyone that's changed onto soft tyres, they will have to use the set they used in qualifying at the start of, at some point during the feature race now, because they didn't have a fresh set. And even though, it's only 1 lap, with the F2 tyres, it's a bit more of a difference in terms of wear, and could make a difference, especially if they start on them off the start line. Could make some sort of impact in the feature race, but it's a small detail, but could have an effect at some point down the line.
Oh, it's a point worth making, because it is track dependent, but that extra 4 or 5% you could have on your tyres could be worth a tenth or 2 per lap, and that could be the difference between being able to make an overtake and not. I want to ride aboard with Cortez here in the safety car because I know he loves to get up close and personal with whoever's in front of him, particularly in F2. We saw it at Russia. There he is having a look at Campbell's insides. I think the point on this restart, the top question is, can Nathan stay with Cortez and Campbell et al. Ahead of him, or is he going to act as a bottleneck that's going to let the top 5 get away and leave Luke, his teammate, as it were, Larkin and Tope vulnerable to Verstappen, and in doing so protect those ahead of him from Verstappen's charges? It'll be interesting to see if he can hold with that leading group. Presumably he thinks he could. He seemed to be doing all right before the safety car. Obviously he's lacking quite a bit of pace, quite a bit of downforce, but I think he should be able to stick with particularly Miami. I think Miami probably is the slowest of this lead group, so we shall see on that count. Safety car in this lap. We're going to get 3 laps of green flag action, RJ, and we're going to get 1 lap of DRS. How many more front wings do you think we'll see fly?
At least 2, I think. There's going to be definitely someone in the midfield's just going to absolutely go for it, and fair play, but probably going to lose a wing somewhere in there. It'll probably be because of that the second one goes, but as they get up to their tyres warm now. Can't overtake till the start-finish line. So we'll see how late Jerome decides to go. And actually, he's gone quite early on this one, before the chicane. He's got it turned in quite nice. So actually, he's gone early and not got a great restart. And Miami is definitely within range to try and slipstream down the Camel Straight.
Miami has the longest flat outs. Oh, Nathan nearly sailing into the back of Cortez there at the source. Miami has the longest flat out section on the Formula 1 calendar to try and get in Girone's slipstream and try and make some kind of move here. Let's put the interval on. It's quarter of a second, and I think Girone had a bit of a scruffy line through Radion. Indeed, he did. Here comes XL Miami. Penalty for Chile. Pulls to the left-hand side. It's going to be a straight drag race towards Lecom. We've got XL Rocco having a look as well. He's trying to make it 3 wide. I don't know if there's a way through for Rocco. There certainly is on Girone, though. And Girone has lost 2 places there. Miami takes the lead. Rocco in second. Girone down to third. Campbell is in fourth. Cortez is in 5th place now, and Nathan holding on to 6th nicely, even with that front wing damage.
Yeah, Jerome had a slide right at the top of Radion, and I mean, he's quite lucky to actually hold that in the end. It looked like for 1 second he was going in the wall, but held it quite nicely. But yeah, loses those 2 positions. With Nathan, really, he's just been tucked up behind Cortez, not really, especially in that first sector, not much he's actually losing with that front wing damage. But you can see now in the middle sector, that gap has pulled out a little bit to 6 tenths. But he's just staying within really where you need to be to get the slipstream, and it's really helping him.
Penalty for Miami. That's going to hand the lead to Rocco, and Rocco might not even need it because here he is. He's got the slipstream coming towards Blanchimont. It's wheel to wheel. They're rubbing tyre face to tyre face. Rocco's going to hang out around the outside, and then he's got the inside line. He's safely ahead by the braking point, and Girone might just take this place back now. Miami's going to go very deep and brave into the bus stop chicane. He ends up cutting the second part of it. Rocco had a massive slide through there. I think he just got clipped by the Trident of Miami. He's held onto the lead for now. In the process, Campbell's got past Girone, but he's boxed in here behind Miami between Girone. I think he's going to lose that place straight back. He can't, or is he going to try to extend around the outside of turn 1? He has got around Girone. Fabulous stuff from QVR Campbell. Cortez couldn't make any gains in that. It's Larkin now in 7th, who's the one who's putting the pressure on Nathan. No longer is Tim. Look how close Cortez is on the back of Girone through Radion. Rocco's gone off the track. Rocco's got a penalty. Campbell's now going to win this race.
And Miami nearly pushing Campbell off the track as they come down to Lecom. He's going to sit in behind in 3rd place. Cortez now going side by side. I think he's side by side, yeah. In the background,
Cortez has hit the back of Campbell, I think that was. And he might have picked up a bit of damage. I saw the car askew through Malmedy, and he's going to try to go around the outside of Girone here at Rivage. He has to be careful, otherwise he'll find himself very vulnerable tonight. We've got a yellow flag. Someone has had a spin, had a moment. I think that's B. Morgan it is. And look at Girone taking the esports line there down towards Pouon. Rocco has just about survived the assault. He's half a second clear of Miami. Campbell will be just begging everyone to stop fighting and just have a nice procession for this last lap and a half to the end of the race. What are you seeing in the background there, RJ?
Everyone getting a bit loose on the curves. Cortez.
Larkin's gone very deep at Stavolo, and Verstappen's nipped through there into P7.
Yeah, everyone getting a bit loose on the curves now, trying to push the limits. A bit of the AstroTurf on the inside of one of the chicane corners, nearly catching out Cortez as they come through Blanchimont. Now up to the bus stop for the penultimate time. Cortez trying to go around the outside of Girone, trying to go around the outside of Campbell. There's a bit of contact, but they just about get away with it. As now on to the final lap of the race. Rocco nearly a second out in front. DRS now enabled as they're going to come up
Verstappen's going
hill.
for it on Cortez into La Source. He needs to make these softs work. I think he's just about got the car slowed down. He made the apex nicely. He's got the straight run. He's also got Girone's slipstream, I think, just about to tow him up. Another place for Verstappen. He's up into 5th place. He could end up on the podium here. In fact, he's going to end up on the podium if he gets that penalty removed.
Yeah, and I think he will, unless he's picked up another warning since. We'll have to find out afterwards. As Campbell now going for the move on Miami. I don't know if Miami quite had DRS. I would have thought he did. I'm not quite sure, but it was very close as Luke gets ahead of Chill, or stays ahead. I can't remember who was in front there. I think Luke was in front. As we have another yellow flag, that will be Scream out of the race on the final lap. But now we have Campbell, without a mistake, should win this race with Rocco's penalty. Jerome looking to come home in second. It's actually Cortez who's going to come home. Well, Verstappen if he gets his penalty removed.
Jerome was very slow through Pouon, sorry. He had a bit of a slow, scruffy exit. Verstappen trying to look around the outside, and then Cortez. Verstappen left field, very vulnerable to Cortez trying to look around the outside of Lefania. He's got to be careful here, Verstappen. He doesn't lose any more places. He can't afford to lose points to Nathan, because of course that penalty for Nathan is bona fide. He will plummet down the order. Look at the soft traction that Verstappen's got through Stavolo. He's got a tremendous run on Girone. He's going to pull out to the outside. Are we going to see what Rocco did earlier? He's just going to drive clean around the outside of Blanchimont. I think he is, and he's made that move stick. That's fabulous from Verstappen. Cortez is going to try follow him, albeit off the track. It's going to be Rocco that comes through the last corner to win on track. Verstappen has made it up into fourth place, but Campbell is going to win our sprint race on penalties. Miami was in third on track, but it's going to be Cortez, then Girone. Verstappen plummets that 3-second penalty. We'll see if he gets that removed. But for now, your order is Campbell, Cortez, Girone, Rocco, Larkin in fifth. He had an anonymous race. Car Mentalist recovered from that crash with Darry to P7. Miami 8th. Tote was in 9th. I think Verstappen was in 10th. And Nathan all the way down in 11th with that 3-second penalty. That was extremely costly. Put him down 5 places there.
Yeah, and also another thing that was costly was actually not as costly as it could have been, the damage, because he did manage to just stick in that train. But yeah, that penalty really cost him. He's going to pick up 5 points for 11th, whereas his main championship rival has just picked up 18. So not a great race, but he always has the chance to turn it around in the feature race. And then Verstappen, I can confirm, did not pick up any further warnings, so if he gets that removed, he will be second, I think, in the end.
1-2 for the QVR boys. Campbell has an 11-point lead in the championship now. Quick maths tells me only man to set a lap in the 56s. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. Verstappen and B. Morgan also mentioned. The only medium runner, the non-stopper, to set a 56. He wins the race by 1.5 seconds from Cortez, possibly Verstappen, pending the stewards' room. Girone in third, Rocco in fourth. He had an eventful race, as did Larkin. He's in P5. Luke in P6. Car Mentalist 7th. Miami is down to 8th after starting in 4th and leading this race for a couple of laps. Topa's in 9th. Verstappen in 10th. Nathan down to 11th. Jordan in 12th. Chill in 13th. B. Morgan in 14th. Ibo 15th. Nolan 16th. And the Scream, who died at Malmedy 1 lap from the end, and then Darry, who had that huge crash with Car Mentalist, which brought out the safety car. I said B. Morgan was going to win that race, and he ended up finishing 15th or 14th, so I will not be making any further predictions today. JD Nolan said in the live stream chat that it's a wet feature, but it doesn't look that way right now, does it? So it's going to be a transition at some point, or JD Nolan's pulling our finger a little bit.
Well, it'll be very intriguing to see what tyres everyone starts on, because the majority of the time, the alternate strategy is the favourite in F2. But if everyone's on softs, that could give quite a clear indication of the way the weather is going to go. And could bring the point about using the soft tyres in the sprint race into a bit more scrutiny, depending on when the rain decides it wants to come. Nathan starting on pole after he qualified on pole, funnily enough. Cortez second, Campbell third, Verstappen fourth. Really, towards the end of the season, along with Girone and Rocco, those are the 6 really standout drivers at the end of this season. I think Girone only joined midway through, and Cortez has finally got his finally been finishing a few races. So these are the 6 drivers that you want at the front. They've really brought it at the end of the season, and three of these drivers going for the big one at the end of it. Only 1 week to go. But advantage Campbell as we head into the features.
Yeah, advantage Campbell, 11-point lead for him, and I agree with you, they are very much probably our 6 strongest contenders with 3 races to go this season. You can tell Nathan is not a happy bunny. He is not in a good mood whatsoever because he's doing this formation lap at absolute full tilt. Doesn't care where the cars are behind him. He just wants to get this over with, and he's just storming around, coming through Le Fanu now, not in any way inclined to wait for his opposition to catch up. And fair enough, I respect it, but you can tell he's not particularly in the happiest of moods right now. We have got 2 drivers on the mediums. That's B Morgan in the Prima, XL Larkin in the UNI Virtuosi. So presumably, we're expecting rain to arrive fairly imminently. 13-lap race, so you'd imagine we'd run most of it under wets, even as we approach the last corner. Nathan still disinclined to wait for anyone to catch up. It'll be under AI now, and the field is nicely strung out. So Nathan has some nice cool tyres, some cool Pirellis to get him off the line there. And now seems an opportune moment, XLRJ, for you to make your prediction. Is it Connor, Jensen, Jewelbury, just us?
I would pick them all if they were here. I might just be very boring and say Nathan Cortez Campbell.
I'd say Nathan Campbell Verstappen, so that I feel that's even more boring. Cortez is at least likely to cause some sort of mayhem. Right. Are we ready then for round 2? This time it is in qualifying order, so we've got Nathan on pole, Cortez in second, Campbell and Verstappen just tucked in behind. It's finally poised. We've got 3 races to go in the Formula 2 season, and we're underway. Nathan looked like he got a sensible start there, coming towards turn 1. He's safely ahead by the apex. Cortez holds on to P2. We'll have a look around the outside, but he's going to leave himself very vulnerable to Campbell. The 2 bump wheels in the middle of La Source, but I think the order's shaked out as it was, so it's as you were, but we've got side by side there between Rocco and Girone into Eau Rouge and Radion. That's a fabulous overtake from Rocco if he can make it stick, and he absolutely does. But look at that, we've got Nolan straight into the wall there. He's retired, he's out of the session. Are we going to have some kind of safety car? I don't think so. We've got Luke under pressure from... Oh, we've got virtual. Oh, that ruined... Luke was about to be absolutely annihilated into Les Combes there. But yes, it is, as I said, as you were. It is Nathan, Cortez, Campbell, Verstappen. No change up front. Rocco up into 5th, Girone down to 6th. Just the one change there. Miami's held on to 7th, and Luke on to 8th as well. So position changes, not too many of them. Only that one in the top 8. B Morgan's gained a couple. Jordan's gained a couple. Larkin's up 3. Tope's up 3. Carmentis has lost a couple. But credit that to Nolan's DNF. Otherwise, we are pretty much as we started here, and we are back under green flag racing. And look at that! I think that was Jordan or B Morgan. No, Jordan has gone very wide at Pouon, and the Scream and Chill. Oh, sorry, Darry's nipped through. Chill's nipped through. He's going to try fight it back with Chill. He's going to leave himself very vulnerable to Larkin here, who's already gained 3 places on this open lap. He gains another one. He nips up inside in the second part of Le Fanu. I wish the game just clearly said VSC over, because I got myself in a tongue-tied there. Into the wall there goes XL Miami on the exit of Stavolo. He's lost a front wing, but he's still in the race. He's got Evo Company down at the back. Nathan has already stretched his legs monstrously. He's 0.6 of a second clear at the end of that one, and that's including a VSC for half of it. We got more side by side as well. That is Rocco and Girone. Girone's trying to get payback for that overtake, that cheeky overtake into Eau Rouge, and it's going to be a drag race down towards turn 1. Rocco's going to sit in Verstappen's slipstream here, try and gain a little bit of straight line speed towards turn 1, but Girone's got the inside line. Rocco has to concede that one, but then Girone, for good measure, bumps the back of the HWA, but Girone back up into P5.
Yeah, Verstappen looked like he was really caught out at the end of the VSC. He was about second back when it went green, and he had Rocco tried to overtake him as they come out of I think it's Paul Frere or Stavolo 2 or whatever you want to call it, onto the back straight. But he's now got back clear again. But you can see he's 2 seconds back as Rocco and Girone going side by side yet again, and Girone's going to get ahead through Malmedy. Luke right on the back of that battle as well. But yeah, Verstappen really caught out at the end of the VSC, and it allowed the top three really to just get going on their own, and they've made that separation. Nathan nearly outside of a second from Cortez. Cortez just got to try and stick in that 1 second window. Sorry, as everyone else from fourth backwards really just starting to join this train, this battle.
Verstappen 2.2 seconds adrift. So I think you're right in saying that top three are very much in their own little battle for now. We'll see if Verstappen can catch up, but that'll be hard, given we're about to get DRS in the next lap. Miami elected not to pit last time round. He's going to go with that front wing damage. So it does make you think rain's coming, although JD Nolan's saying in the chat that Jeff's saying no rain expected, so maybe the rain's going to come right at the end of this race, potentially. And if that's the case, the soft runners are going to have a hard time trying to extend their stints. So I think we probably work on the assumption that we're not going to get any rain, if that's what it was saying at the start of the race. Verstappen's already slipped another couple of tenths to 2.4 now. He's safely covered off Girone and Rocco, but he has not got the pace to match this top three, who are being dragged by Nathan. And I think I say Nathan is far quicker than anyone else in the field right now. And Verstappen 2.7 seconds behind, coming through La Source. He's just not happy right now, or perhaps that is just testament to how quick our leading group is. Cortez is going to have DRS. He's 6 tenths per second behind Nathan. I think he's too far back to make any kind of impression on the car in this lap, but he is pulling himself out of Campbell's reach. Oh, Rocco up the inside of Girone there as well. So he ran the outside of Girone towards Lecombe. Girone's going to hang that one. I know the contact model in F1 2021, that is a terrible idea from Girone, because the car on the inside invariably gets spin. Rocco was very giving with the space he left, though. We got B. Morgan, that is in the background, having a big moment as well, coming through Malmedy, but Girone hangs on for now. But this is doing Verstappen a massive solid here.
Yeah, big tank slapper from Girone on the exit there, but manages to make that move stick. Campbell's got to be very careful. He is now out of DRS range. He just got it coming down the Kemmel Straight, but just because Cortez is so close to Nathan, he's just struggling to do anything in terms of staying with the pair out in front. And yeah, he's now out of DRS range, and it becomes a lot more difficult from this position onwards. And yeah, elsewhere, Larkin is right on the back of Darry. This is quite a big train. I think Larkin, he was going to have a look, but Darry's just pulled away from him as they come through Blanchimon. A bit more grip on those softs.
Oh, Nathan's made a mistake. Nathan's into the pits. Oh, that's what it was. I got very excited there when I saw a position change. Sorry, RJ. We've got Nathan and Campbell into the pits. Cortez inherits lead. I mean, Nathan was about to get overtaken anyway, I think, on the following lap, so Cortez stuck with him well through the middle part of the lap. You mentioned Larkin on the back of Darry. Larkin, of course, on the mediums, as is B. Morgan. They've both made great gains since the start of this race. In 6th and 8th right now, and sitting very pretty, you have to say.
Yeah, Nathan taking the earliest opportunity to come into the pits. Obviously from... You can only pit mandatory pit stop from lap 3 onwards, so Nathan and Campbell take the opportunity as Larkin does find his way past the high-tech of Darry into the Lecombe chicane. But Nathan 1.6 ahead of Campbell, so no threat from behind. It's what Cortez can do on an overcut, or potentially what he can try and do limiting the damage from being forced into that overcut. I would have thought he'd come in this lap around, as we have a yellow flag on the run up to the Kemmel Straight. That is now cleared.
We've got chill round at Lecombe. I think Chill was in direct combat with. Oh, and we've got Ibo and Car Mentalist have crashed there. I was going to say that. Bizarre. I was about to say Chill was in direct combat with Ibo and Car Mentalist, and then Ibo and Car Mentalist have then had a second contact at the very next part of Lecombe at Malmedy. Bizarre. I'd love to see 3 POVs of that one. No No kind of caution. We've got Rocco and Giron, at it again. Here comes Giron. Is he going to have a look towards the bus stop chicane? No, he's not. Rocco brave enough on the brakes, but this battle has been raging all race long. Cortez does come into the pits, and he had extended his lead against Nathan by 2/10 on this lap. It was 26.0. It ended 26.2 when Nathan came into the pits. So this is actually going to be very close. Cortez might slip out just behind Nathan, but he's going to be right in Nathan's DRS. I think. Let's have a look. Let's go on board with Nathan. He's coming down the main straight. Cortez trundling towards pit exit. Cortez HWA is right at the pit exit, so he's in the very last pit box here. Nathan's going to go through. Has Cortez made this overcut work, or is Nathan just does take the lead, but Cortez right where he wants to be. He's going to be 2/10 behind Nathan going across that DRS line. This could be as academic an overtake as Cortez could hope for to take the net lead of this race. Nathan has got no ERS, of course. We're in F2 to defend with, and Cortez is just going to breeze past there. Simply lovely from the Portuguese man. He's into the net lead, but you can bet your bottom dollar that Nathan is going to stick with him like PVA glue there, coming through the rest of this lap.
Yeah, and I think the one thing he's going to have to watch, which I think is what really allowed him to gain that time on Nathan, is the tyre warm-up on this first lap. Because you've got a long straight, you don't warm it up, so it's only really in the middle sector that you're going to be able to warm up the tyres. So Nathan is going to be able to stick really comfortably with Cortez because he's already got his tyres up to temperature, because he took that pain on the first lap. As we have a retirement, there's Giron out of the race. And that could be a
Oh no! I just saw Giron's. I don't want to get it wrong saying what team it was. I just saw the red dot off the track at Stavelot, and I thought, oh dear. But it would be Ariel and Giron. I mean, based on ISRL yesterday or Sunday rather, are we surprised? Other leagues are available. Verstappen pits, B Morgan pits, XO Rocco pits, XO Larkin pits, Emily Tope pits. Cortez is the first of the pitters. And where is Cortez going to be in relation to the... Because remember, Cortez had about a 4 or 5 second lead over... Oh, Nathan nearly into the back of Cortez there. Cortez had about a 5 second lead over Verstappen prior to the pit stop. But of course, they're held to a delta, and it is quite a chunky delta. And I think Verstappen, B Morgan's been disqualified from the session. He must have collided with the safety car there, is all I can presume, because they're together at Radion. They have all made it ahead of Cortez, Nathan and Campbell of Verstappen, but only by 1.5 seconds. So if Verstappen had stuck with that opening group early on, he could have been leading this race right now. As it is, we are back to kind of where we started. We're back to square one. But we're all bunched up. Verstappen has a second bite at the cherry in having a fight with these guys ahead of him.
And the very interesting thing that this safety car has done, it means really that the softs could probably go the whole way. And one person is going to take full advantage of that, and that is Larkin on the soft compound tyres, the only one in the top 10, and he is now a major threat for the second half of this race. No one in front of him on the mediums, obviously. He does have a penalty, but he still, on those softs, should be able to get them up to temperature a bit quicker and should be able to have a lot more grip in the corners where you need it, especially on the traction zones out of turn 1, out of the chicane, where you're going to try and make the move. So Larkin in a very good position here, bar the penalty, to try and make further progress. He obviously started on the mediums and made some good progress. So, well, yeah, he started 16th, so up to 6th, and with better tyres for the end of this race.
Yeah, Larkin, Scream, and Car Mentalist are all going to be on softs here to the end. It's going to be at least another lap because we need Car Mentalist to catch up, and he is, as you can see, 2/3 of a lap behind back of the Snake, which Jordan is just joining now. We've got some, well, typical safety car antics there. I saw briefly on the Delta Nathan was 0.5 tenth behind Cortez. The kind of thing you love to see. Actually, no, you don't. I absolutely loathe to see these kind of safety car shenanigans. There's no need. But Nathan and Cortez bad as each other. Campbell sitting a healthy separation back in third. I was going to make a point, but I can't remember what the point was. I was going to say something about rain, which doesn't look like it's happening now, does it? I think we've safely we have weathered that storm, if you'll excuse the pun. But let's go on board with Ibo. Let's give Ibo the screen time he deserves. King Ibo coming through Lafanya here on his fresh sticky mediums.
Yeah, I just want to go back to probably the most bizarre thing I've seen all season, other than Nathan deciding that he finished Jeddah one lap early. The Ivo Car Mentalist crash was. I just managed to catch it. I don't know if you caught it on stream, but the Car Mentalist is I don't know if Ivo. He's done his thing where he's just slowed down a little bit to kind of move out of the way of people. But Carmentis has just gone straight into the back of him like he's not realised. And they've both gone flying. It's absolutely bizarre. I honestly don't think you'd see it in any other place other than F2.
I'd really like to see Ibo, Car Mentalist, and who was the third? Was it Scream, possibly? That had that bizarre clip. I've never seen Ibo get involved in the crash with anyone. I've seen aggressive Ibo. It is not for the faint-hearted, but I have never seen Ibo have a crash with anyone. As you say, I can only presume I didn't catch it on stream. Yeah, I can only guess, but I think Ibo probably did go to let Carmentless through, and then Carmentless didn't realise what was happening. B. Morgan said he had no MFD, had no delta or display, so he presumed the safety car was letting him go, so that's why he was disqualified from the race. For a little bit of housekeeping, obviously Jerome then died at Stavilo, and Nolan died at Eau Rouge on the opening lap, or Radion rather. That is your state of play with 7 laps complete. It's Cortez who leads from Nathan, Campbell, Verstappen, Rocco, Larkin on softs, but the caveat to that is he has a 3-second penalty. Tope is in P7, Luke is in 8th, and sitting pretty as he tends to do. We have got another lap under safety car because we are waiting for Scream, Car Mentalist, and Ibo just to catch up here. But it's a finely poised race, this one. Ibo gets a penalty under safety car at a flat out straight bit of track. Not sure how he's managed that. Just Ibo things, I suppose. But yeah, we've got 6 laps to go, including this one, and it's in a really finely balanced state, isn't it?
Yeah, Ibo just went a bit wide at Blanchard. I was watching him. He did nearly crash out of Stavilo. He managed to hold it. Fair enough. He is really pushing to get on the back of the safety car, which he's just about to do as he comes up the hill of Radion. And he's now on the back of the safety car queue in the points, Ibo. Currently on for 14th, so nothing to sniff
Scream
at.
has no front wing. I was wondering why Scream would come in the pits. I thought he was coming to retire because he sped, but he has no front wing. He'd already made a couple of stops in this race. Let's have a look, actually. This is his 3rd stop. Comment has also made 3 stops. He's not going to catch up to the queue. The safety car will come in this lap regardless of whether he catches up. So I think that Scream's race is over. He may as well have retired, because we're probably not going to get another safety car after this one. But, sorry, yeah, you were saying. I'm intrigued to know where Scream would have crashed there to lose his front wing under an SC. But then I've completely crashed under an SC, so I can't really judge.
Yeah, and I mean, he's still got a point to play for. I mean, it's not. If you're not in the championship fight at this point in the season, then it's a bit more difficult to have the motivation to want to actually finish. But a point is a point at the end of the day. And top
Spoken
15
like a true football manager.
Yeah, point is the point. No matter how it comes, and
Take every race as it comes.
exactly. But yeah, so the safety car is coming in this lap. I don't know if Scream's actually. Yeah, I don't know if he's actually being held to a delta because he's not pushing. So
He doesn't have one. He doesn't have one on his
Yeah.
dashboard. So I think he's just probably heading at a leisurely pace. He knows he's not going to catch up anyway. Unless Cortez goes exceptionally late, but he's not really holding the pack too slowly. We're at 70 miles an hour here. We went very early in the sprint race for the restart. Where are we going to go here? Cortez going to go, just before the bus stop, during the bus stop, that's where I'd go. We've gone just before the bus stop into the braking zone. He has made a dash for it, and he's got a half-second lead on Nathan as we come into the braking zone. Goes a little bit deep into the first part of the chicane. No overtaking till we get to the start-finish line. Cortez has a half-a-second lead as we're back underway. Another penalty for Ibo. We've got 5 laps of racing to go. Cortez leads Nathan, leads Campbell, leads Verstappen, leads Rocco in P5. Rocco very close on the back of Verstappen there, and we're going to have the slipstream come into play all the way down and up the hill now of Eau Rouge and Radio, where the track kinks left then right. Campbell, it looks like it got a little bit out of shape in the first part through Eau Rouge, and we've got a tremendous slipstream now with Verstappen. And further ahead, we've got Nathan going for an overtake as well on Cortez. We're going to have a double overtake until they come for the podium places. Nathan takes the lead of the race. Campbell passes Verstappen for third, but it's not as convincing. I think Verstappen's going to fight this one back. He's got the inside line for Malmedy. He holds safely on to the lead, but Campbell might he have another look up the inside of Rivage. Not on this occasion. He's got to be careful because Rocco is so close behind him, but he can't not take risks either because his championship rival Nathan is leading the race, and that is the other championship rival that's directly ahead of him. There was no other overtake earlier. Miami got past Jordan into La Source on this lap, but this battling has let Cortez and Nathan already get a 1 second lead here.
Yeah, and this is kind of similar to what happened in the first bit of the race. DC just pulling away from Campbell on that occasion. It's going to be Verstappen this time around. They're already out of that second window, and without a penalty here, I've just got the commentator's cursor, but without a penalty here, these two are going to go away at the front. But Verstappen just better exit out of that corner and just gain a little bit back, but really further back. Larkin not quite making. He's not been able to make a movement as of yet. He should have better grip on those soft tyres and not many laps to actually wear them down, so he's got a really good chance still to try and make some positions in this race. But Rocco just nailing every exit of every corner really, and he gets a great run down the pit straight. Nothing doing for him into turn 1 that time around, but very good exits from Rocco. He's doing that very well, getting the traction very nicely.
Rocco's in a train. He's in his element. There is no beating Rocco in a train. Rocco in a train is the final boss. It's only when he gets out in front. My penalty, Miami. Larkin looked like he cut straight across Radion there. Did you see something else, RJ?
I said if those two don't get penalties, they're going to run away with this one, and Cortez has picked up a penalty about 30 seconds after that. So I think he went a bit wide at the top of Rouge Radion, and there's his 3-second penalty, which gives his teammate a place.
I think Chill and Verstappen probably need to work together a little bit here to keep themselves in that penalty range. Verstappen is in DRS, and oh no, penalty for Verstappen on the exit of No Name there. Well, Campbell now launches himself back into P2, and in doing so brings himself right back into contention against Nathan. But of course, he's got 2 cars in his way now. Neither of whom will be in too much of a good mood to get out of his way. But if we get
Rocco's gone.
Rocco's gone at Lefania. Oh, Rocco's had a spin. He's lost some front wing there, and we can take solace from the fact he's not the first person to have a spin, or even the 4th or 5th person to have a spin today. He plummets down to 13th, and Carl Mentalist once again on course for some good points, even though he's crashed again with Darry in the sprint race and Ibo in the feature race, both in the same place at Malmedy. He'll be sick of the sight of that corner by the time this race is finished, but he's finding himself in good points contention again. That's given Larkin a place. He's up into fifth now, and this is interesting. Larkin on the softs has Campbell in his sights, and Campbell is the man ahead of him, barring Nathan, who doesn't have a penalty. So Campbell will be keeping fingers, toes, everything crossed, I'm sure, to hope that Larkin does not have a sniff of an overtake on his ART.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll be very intrigued to see, Verstappen was very close to falling out of DRS. He just managed to get back in, but they should all hold position down this straight. Yeah, Rocco just a bit too much of the curb, got a bit too greedy on the curb through Lafagna, and it's decided it wants to spin him around this time. So yeah, just one of those. One lap it lets you use it, then the next lap you're round, but you got to take that risk sometimes, and it didn't pay off for Rocco down in 15th place, and that was pretty much his championship all but over now. After that one, but as Chill picks up a penalty, Campbell in a very nice position, just being able to sit behind Verstappen. It's not putting him under pressure behind really, and he doesn't need to go for anything in front unless he wants to challenge Nathan for the race win, but he's got a few positions to make up to try and do that, so in a very good position to bring home yet another podium, and even though he's going to lose some points in this race, still come out with the championship lead into the final round.
Well, if Campbell hasn't decided to overtake Verstappen, it's that Larkin is very close for company behind him. Larkin had a very good exit through Stavolo, but Verstappen's slipstream is protecting Campbell just enough now. Larkin able to break a lot deeper, spooks Campbell into going a little bit deep into the first part of the bus stop, but the DRS there is doing its work for Campbell. It's keeping him safe from Larkin, who sets fast the lap of the race, and now we're going to have, I think, two very tasty battles heading up the hill. We're going to have Cortez, who's within half a second of Nathan, making a move for the net lead of this race, or the lead pre-penalty at least. And then we're going to have Campbell having a look at Verstappen, although Campbell didn't have the best exit out of La Source. Larkin had a much better one. Look how close Larkin is to the back of Campbell here. It's 0.3 of a second from Verstappen to Campbell. Another couple of tenths back to Larkin. Cortez isn't making a move on Nathan, but there goes Campbell around the outside of Verstappen. Verstappen didn't look like he wanted to fight that too much with his penalty, although Campbell went a little bit deep through the middle part of Lecombe, and Larkin still can't do anything, but a big moment for Verstappen, a tank slapper there through Malmedy, nearly doing what we saw Dari and Carl Mentis do. We've got a yellow flag in the background. That is Chill has imitated his QBR teammate there, Larkin, up into fourth place, and with both these guys having penalties, that was for position, that overtake, something Verstappen can't afford to give away, and Campbell now has a free run at Cortez and Nathan, albeit with a lap to go and 2 seconds behind. I don't think he's going to make any impression on that, but for now it looks to be that Nathan's going to get a P2 as Cortez slides through the second part of Lafagna there, drift in there, Tokyo drift for Cortez, just hanging on back. He's throwing everything to have a chance of winning this race on track against Nathan on the last lap. But the battle I'm interested in, I think, is this Larkin-Verstappen one. Verstappen needs to make the move, and Larkin has absolutely no incentive whatsoever to let him through, because Larkin really just racing for fun, racing for pride out there on track right now, and he's got a good chance to get past Campbell back as well. And look at Cortez, 0.2 of a second behind Nathan as we head into the final lap. It's still all very much to play for, RJ.
Yeah, and I want to see if there's any letting people go before detection points going on, because Campbell said he was in a very good situation. He's now in a bit more of a difficult situation because he's very close to falling out of the 3-second window from Cortez. He's probably going to lose at least one of these positions up the hill. Whether he loses the second one, we will have to wait and see, as Larkin's all over the back of him. Verstappen off the road, so that's probably his opportunity to get past, gone out of the window. Larkin going to drive straight past Cortez up into the lead of the race, provisionally on track, and no coming together between those two, as Larkin up into third on track, with the penalties all dropping down. The other thing with Verstappen, he's going to lose a place behind as well. He was going to lose 2 places, but Luke has just slipped out of that 3 seconds from him, so he might just hold on to at least 6th, but still half a lap to go, and he could still who knows, get ahead of Larkin in this race. But it looks
Oh,
like it's
penalties to
contested to a
Cortez.
6 second lead. Wow.
I was just about to say Campbell was in a big doo-doo there because he was well outside of the 3 seconds to Cortez, but that second penalty has saved him. And you know what? If Campbell was feeling very crafty, I would have driven very slowly through this middle sector. I'd have backed right off from Verstappen, slowed him down, let Luke get back into play. The gap is about 3.1 seconds. And if Campbell does feel as devilishly as he might be inclined to be, he could back off right through the bus stop chicane, just slow right down, park the car in the middle of the track, and let Verstappen suffer the fate of being overtaken by Tope and Dari as we come. Tope and Luke, sorry. It's going to be Nathan that wins the feature race. Cortez nabs it on track. Larkin had a very shoddy exit through the bus stop chicane. He takes third on track, but Campbell leaps to second in the end thanks to that last lap penalty for Cortez. And Cortez drops to fourth, Larkin fifth, Verstappen down in sixth. Tope has leapt into third place on that last lap thanks to penalties to Cortez, Larkin and Verstappen. Dari missed out on Verstappen by half a second. Luke was a further 2/10 back, and then Miami and Carmentless also split by just a tenth of a second there. Jordan is in 11th, Scream comes across the line in 12th, and then it's going to be Chill, Ibo, and XL Rocco, who is going to round out your finishers. But Tope on the podium, that was unexpected, shall we say, coming into the last lap of that race.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get. Well, I could see he was going to gain on Larkin and Verstappen, and that put him on P4. But that Cortez penalty really just is just giving him a penalty, a podium out of pretty much nowhere. So yeah, quite a shock. But he's on the podium. But that race has set it up very, very nicely for the finale next week.
It has indeed. We've got, well, Campbell had an 11-point lead come into this. Nathan has just closed that back up. So with 2 races to go, Campbell is going to head into Bahrain with this slimmest of slim leads. And how fitting that our top 2 in the championship are our top 2 in this feature race, with an unexpected podium for MLE Tope to join them. He beat out Cortez by 200ths of a second in the end. Cortez was well on course for a second place, or at least a third. He ended up getting fourth with that last lap penalty. Larkin, as I said, was fifth from 16th on the grid. Tope came from 18th to third. That was an unexpected but meteoric rise, I think you can say. Verstappen, disappointing event for him. He slips to 6th place. Dari in 7th, Luke in 8th. Miami 9th, Aiden, Carmentalist, in 10th. Jordan 11th, Scream 12th, Chill 13th, Ibo 14th, Rocco 15th. And then our DNFers, B. Morgan, who was disqualified for overtaking the safety car. Then Jerome, who died at Stavilo, and Nolan, who crashed on the first lap. So Nathan, who had been on a run of 6 races without a victory, and a 6-race run in which he'd only taken 1 podium as well, very much back on form with a pole and a win here in the feature. But Campbell, hot on his heels, as always, with a sprint race win and a 2nd place in the feature. He's done pretty much all he could have done to take, to keep the fight alive and even take the lead of the championship. Fastest lap for him as well, which I think gets him an extra point. But, well, one event to go, RJ. 2 races. How is this battle going to shake out? Who's going to be our Formula 2 champion? That is the $1 million question. What's your answer?
I know from previous that Nathan is. I'm pretty sure in F2 he is pretty good around Bahrain. So he is. Yeah, well, last season a win and a 2nd place. So he's got a very good chance. And actually, Campbell didn't have the best races in Bahrain last season. So slightly different cars, slightly different feel to the cars, but I'd say just given the track, I'd say that's probably an advantage to Nathan, but cancels out the points advantage that Campbell does have. So this is going all the way down to the wire, probably in the last few laps of the feature race.
It's going to come down to the finest of margins, I think. Every lap, every moment, every apex is going to be absolutely pivotal because we know how chaotic F2 can be. I think whoever gets on pole position have a psychological advantage. You'd presume that would swing Nathan's way, but the fact that Campbell has taken a second and a first this week in the sprint and the feature will really, I think, buoy his confidence. But I think, do we leave the stream there? Should we leave the stream there? We don't do interviews, do we, in F2? Yeah, so that concludes this week's racing action. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, RJ, for having me, letting me hop on your party and get in on some F2 action. It was absolutely glorious. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Hopefully you can have me back next week if I'm allowed. So yes, thank you for tuning in. Bahrain next week. Do not miss it. It's the title decider. And honestly, for the first time, I think I remember it in LOE history. We're going into the last race of the division, and I genuinely have no idea who could win that, either or. It is so close between Nathan and Campbell. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week, same time, on the League of Europe YouTube channel. Goodbye.